Hello everybody, in this video we are going to be looking at making your own Google site as well as using Google Sites for some PBL. Alright, so to get started here we are going to go ahead into a new tab and just go to sites.google.com. It will probably also be in your waffle as well. You can probably find it in there. You can also find it in your Google Drive. If you click on the new button, you can find a new site. So once you get into a new Google site, this is what you'll see. Now, the nice thing about Google Sites is it's probably the easiest web builder out there because it's just a lot of dragging and dropping, and it works perfectly well with all your other Google stuff because it is a Google, it's another one of your Google apps. So to get started here, I'm just going to run through and make a really simple class page. So this would be like a page that students can visit for reminders about the class and homework that's coming up and what's happening in our class over the next couple months or whatever. So first thing to do is we want to come up to the top left corner here and just give it a name. So I'll just name it Mr. Neeson's class. That's me. And then if I click away from here, I can give it a title. So on this one, we'll say history class. And on this page now, there's not much else I can scroll into here in this middle part of the screen, but you'll notice over on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So let me run through these couple of tabs with you real quick. So first thing under this Insert tab is we have text boxes. So if we want to write something out, we can pull in images right from Google, or we can grab something from the internet. We can also embed something. You can go grab the embed code from a video or from another website. There's lots of different tools out there that give you embed codes. Or you can grab something right from your drive. So if you want to post a Google Doc in here or a slideshow, you can absolutely do that as well. Then if we scroll down a little further here, we have layouts. So this lets you quickly build out a nice looking website. And you have a couple of different choices here. I'll just go ahead and grab this first one here. And all you have to do is click it and drag it over to where you want it. And there we go. So it just drops me in a blank box, a header, kind of looks like a heading line, and then some like filler text in here. So now I can just start filling stuff in. So let's go ahead and start doing that. If I click this little plus button right here on top of my square, I'm going to go ahead and let me put in a video. And let's just say I was a history teacher, so I'll pull in some history stuff here. So I'll say I always like those crash course videos. So crash course World War II. That's one of my favorite topics, so I'll go ahead and do that here. So I'm going to click this one and say select. Now this video is sitting on my website ready to go. Now I have a couple other things I can do in here. I can put some text over here next to it and say this is an introduction to what we'll talk about. Okay, so the idea is students will come to my website here for all updates in the website, see what they're going to be doing in our class over the coming weeks or however long you want it to be. And that's a pretty good place to start. And let's continue going down this sidebar on the right here. If I scroll down a little further, you can see there's even more stuff here. So I can pull in a table of contents. So if I'm going to end up putting a lot of stuff onto my website, I can create a table of contents with lots of different, that link over to lots of different pages. I can put in an image carousel that's just a loop of pictures. I can put in a button that can take you to a specified page in your site or out to another website. The dividing line is just a line divider between sections of a page. It's just to keep things organized. Here's another YouTube button. This is another way to embed videos. You can pull in your Google Calendar. You can pull in a Google Map, a doc, a slide, a sheet, a form, or from a chart. Obviously, like I said before, this is another Google app, so it works really well, go figure, with other Google apps. So in our first page here, I'll actually call this one History Class Coming Up. Now I want to make a new page because this is the only page when people go to my website, this is the only thing they'll see, and this is the home page. So what I want to do now is I want to make another page. So I'm going to go over to my right toolbar and click on Pages. Now you'll see I have Home, and that's it. What I can do now is if I click this little plus button at the bottom here, I can make a new page. So next what I'll do is I will make a new page for, let's do a calendar. We'll say done. Now it's going to automatically make me a new page here. And once it's all finished loading, there we go. Now, just like in our first page, I can add whatever I want on here. And this time, let's go ahead. I'll put a Google Calendar in here. I'll pull one in. I have a homework calendar. And I'll say insert. And the other thing you'll notice too is you can resize these things. It behaves almost kind of like a picture, but even though it's an actual live, it's almost like kind of like a live mini website in your website. All right. So now I have a calendar in here. That's kind of a bad example because I don't have too much in here, but that's okay. And it gives you more options and stuff. I'm going to change this over to the month mode here. This is kind of more advanced stuff in Google Sites here, of course. But then I have a calendar in here. And imagine you had the calendar here that you just update pretty much every week, telling kids what's coming up due for homework every day. It's a place that parents can come to, no problem, and see, oh, okay, on Monday this is due, on Tuesday this is due, etc. All right. Now another cool thing you can do for another page is you can show off some student work. I'll say done. I'll make a new page for student work. And on this one, let's say I want to show off some student work in the form of a slide. So let's say I pulled in a slideshow that some students made for me. And I'll try to find one here that would be a good example. There we go. So let's say a student was working on this slideshow for class as a presentation, and I want to show off the presentations for everybody. And instead of the traditional, the student comes up in front of everybody and gives their little speech for showing their project off, I post it on the website for everybody to see. So anybody can come and see the work that they've done. And now, of course, anytime you put something on your site here and give it a single click, you'll notice there's a couple more options, especially this little settings here that come up that give you some more extra options. So I'll go ahead and play with that as well. One of the cool things about this, especially putting Google Slides in here, is you can make it auto start, and you can have it switch between slides however fast you want. You can have it start at certain points, and it'll just be rotating through that slideshow every time somebody comes onto your site. Really cool way to show off your classwork to your students, or to parents, or to anybody else for that matter. Now, if you want to jump around and go back and do more work on other pages, just go back to your Pages menu up here on the right hand side, and if I want to go back and work on more stuff in my home page, I can absolutely do that. If I want to start adding some more text and stuff below here, I can grab another one of these layouts, drag it over and drop it, and start putting other stuff I want on here. This is the really nice thing about these sites, is they're relatively easy to use. The more challenging thing is deciding how you're going to organize things and deciding what is going to actually be on the website. Now, that kind of covers the teacher side of things. Imagine this though. Imagine using Google Sites instead of the teacher making the Google site. Imagine the student making the Google site for a PBL, for some project-based learning. So the process is still going to be exactly the same, but imagine you go through a big unit in class, and to wrap up the unit, you want to do a big project, or maybe an end-of-the-year project, or however you want to plan it out. And each individual page is a different topic in the unit, or is a different content point that they need to demonstrate they know. And again, they can post anything in here. They can post links to other websites, embed other things, put in videos, put in pictures, put in longer paragraphs explaining what they're talking about. Imagine a book report project with a page for maybe three important characters in the book. So instead of this being, you know, home, student, work, and calendar, it could be this, the main character of the story, the main villain of the story, and then a supporting character of the story. And it talks about, in each one of those pages, it talks about that character. That's just one quick idea. Obviously, this can be twisted into any content area to play around with. Again, this can be something that's student-centered, or it could be a place, a hub, if you will, for teachers, parents, and students to kind of have some better communication happening. All right, so that it was a quick introduction in Google Sites. Play around with it. You'll also check out the Themes tab over here on the right-hand side as well to change up the look. There's not a ton of them, so you can kind of play around with the colors and themes and that sort of stuff with your site. To preview your site to see what it actually looks like for the user, come up to this little symbol, this little preview symbol up at the top, and that will give you a preview from a desktop version. And just like that, you can make a pretty nice looking website really, really quickly. All right, thanks for watching this video. Start playing around with some Google Sites and think about how you're going to use it in your class. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.